a show of hands. I want to know how many of you are academia here, or how many of you are staff? Academic? Staff? Okay. How many of you think either your academic work or your work, and your life stress, how many of you think it's increased over the years? Yeah. So, in what ways? Is it just more meetings, little time to think? I mean, what is it? What's the nature of it? Oh, teenager. Full stop. Okay. Yeah. What else? What about the fact that you've got these things going not all the time?
The multitasking demands that people think technology enables.
Yeah. Have you heard the term VUCA? VUCA? You heard that term? It's a military term. Volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. So the world has become increasingly VUCA. And guess what? It's going to keep that way, right? So how many of you feel burned out?
No.
Huh?
You mean now?
Yeah. Or you know that feeling. Well, I want you to know that in 2019, the World Health Organization finally included the word burnout in it's called the International Classification of Diseases. So it's real. Burnout is real. Okay? And it's described, I'm reading here, as a syndrome conceptualized as resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. Can you relate? Have you ever experienced burnout? Yeah. So, am I depressing you? Well, before I depress you too much, I want to say that you're here for a very specific reason. To learn habits of mind, to learn a mindset to deal with burnout, anxiety, okay? And I'm going to talk really fast. So I want you to make sure your seatbelt is fastened. Are you good? Okay. You think I can't change your life here in an hour? I can. That is, if you apply what you learn here for the rest of your life, you can change the quality of your life. And if you just say, oh, that was a nice talk, next, you don't do it, you'll get more of the quality of life you have now, which may be fine. Why am I so sure I can change your life? Because the wiring you need to change your life is already installed in you. It's your basic wiring. The problem is connecting with it. And we don't do that. And I'm going to explain to you why we don't do it. Okay? So I'm going to teach you some ways to connect with your wiring. Okay? I'm going to give you a metaphor now. Get on a plane, your plane takes off, right? And it goes through the clouds, right? You know that feeling of going through the clouds and it's like that. And then,
You're echoing me.
It's a small group, I think I'm being recorded though.
We could hear you now. Are you doing something online too? Is that why?
Yeah. This is bad.
No. Should just be able to switch it off.
Oh, I know how to switch it off.
Yeah, you probably switch it off. I think we can hear you now. Okay, let's see if we just turn it. It might be. Yeah, you turn it down. Maybe try it.
Okay, let's try this. Metaphor of you're on the plane, right? And you're going through the clouds, right? And then you know when you're above the clouds, right? And it's just smooth and it's open and it's spacious. The bad news is you're living in the clouds. You're thinking the clouds are real. Clouds are a metaphor for your thinking. Clouds are a metaphor for blah, 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 blah. Right now, you're all looking at me. You're being very sweet. You're smiling. I think you're even paying attention. I don't know about that. Maybe you're thinking, I hope they serve lunch. What do I have to pick up on the way home? Right? I can't go to all the talks because I got a busy day, blah, blah, blah. So that's going on all the time. And that's what we're reacting to. We're in a reactive mindset all the time. Why? Because that's also how we're wired since caveman days, right? Because if I don't pay attention, that saber-toothed tiger might have me for lunch. So we're wired to, it's like we have these little antennae. Is this good for me? I want it. Is this sheep bad for me? I don't know. Oh, he's okay. He can just sit there. He's not a problem. So we're like this. So that's going on. We're naturally wired for that as well, right? And so this is going on all the time. There's a way to pause this, and there's a way to access that basic goodness, that inherent awareness, that open space nature of mind. And so I'm going to teach you a couple habits to do. I can't do 9. I mean, that was so unrealistic. I can do 2, and they're like the super ones. And they connect to all the others, which I'll describe and tell you where to go to get more information, okay? Are you all good? Are you feeling a little bit better? Yeah? Yeah, good. Okay, so this is a resilience app. It's a way of thinking, it's a mindset. It's also a set of practices, which is to say it's a discipline. You know, if you want to build muscles, you got to go to the gym, not just once, right? So this is a discipline, and the discipline can be done short times, many times, okay? Here's the problem, and I started to describe it. Monkey mind, this is a Buddhist term. That's the blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about? Stop. Listen to what's going on in there. It's like white noise, isn't it? It's like that noise from the heating fan, right? So, this has repercussions because I'm going to react to the world from the blah, blah, blah. And what I'm essentially doing when I do that is I'm narrowing to decide to stay safe, to stay in homeostasis. Okay. It's kind of a narrow world. And we do what we can to make ourselves feel better. We drink pina coladas on the beach. Can you relate? Makes you feel a lot better, right? We look for distractions because what happens is when we narrow down, when we're like this, when we think our thoughts are really what's really going on, when we think our thoughts that shape our perception is how the world works, our existence gets smaller, smaller, smaller. And you know what it feels like? Tell me if you can relate to this. You know what it feels like to be on autopilot all the time? How many of you live your life like a checklist? Huh? Type it up, right? I don't know. Mine used to be 2 or 3 single-space typewritten pages. I spend more time redoing my checklists. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're a moth in a cocoon on autopilot. You get kind of sleepy and you get kind of numb. So these habits of mind, it's like opening the windows and letting the air come in. Are you excited to learn a few? What's wrong with this? Is this bad that we want a pina colada on the beach?
Never.
Huh?
Never.
Never bad. How long does the happiness from the pina colada last?
Depends on how many you have.
Yeah, or it could rain. Maybe you'll get a sunburn, right? Or discover there's a beehive right there. What I'm trying to say is it's a distraction. It's a pleasurable feeling. It does not last. Right? And if you keep drinking pina coladas, you're on the beach. Oh, you've been on the beach 2 hours. Now you're on the beach 4 hours, 6 hours. Get me out of here, right? It doesn't last. So I want to make sure that you understand habits of mind are different from distractions. Okay, here they are. And I'm going to, the name of this talk is 9 Habits of Mind. Can you count here? Ooh, she can't count, can she? There are 2 that you don't see here. I'll explain why. What we're going to concentrate on, though, are the 2 in the middle. Inquiry mindset and mindfulness practice. 2 practices that can cultivate habits of mind that can change the quality of your life, can ignite your resilience wiring. Okay, so I think what we'll do, of course I organized to do this in a very orderly way. Then I get up and I teach and it doesn't come out that way. Anyway, so let's start with inquiry, and I'll go back to the ones you see around the circle, the center circle. You just say something. We're going to start with inquiry. So an inquiry mindset does this. What I'm really suggesting here is inquiry is the highest form of language. Okay? And we're not usually in this mindset. Do you know when we talk to each other, how we usually talk? In sentences. I'm going to lunch now. Or the kind of questions we ask people. Do you want to come? Could you tell me where the ladies' room is? Why didn't you clean up your room? I'm not talking about that kind of inquiry. I'm talking about training your mind to ask different questions, right? And once you learn this practice, and once you do it all the time, even on your own deathbed, you can change the quality of your life. So now I'm going to ask you to pretend that you trust each other implicitly, that there's a high degree of psychological safety in this room. Can we do that? Okay. Now I'm going to ask you to pair up and spread out, and pair up with someone that you don't know at all, if you can. There might be an odd number, so there might be 3 in one group. So, you guys gonna pair up?
There are many things going on in my mind that I need to stop this noise, focus on
Okay, so you're gonna learn your first super habit of mind, then you're gonna learn a second super habit of mind, and then I'm gonna connect them to all the other habits of mind that we won't have time to talk about, okay? Okay, so this is how we're gonna do this. Oh, an even number. Very cool. Okay, so the first thing you do is you decide who is Sally and who is Susie. You guys too. Who is Sally? Who is Susie? Yeah? Okay. Now I'm going to describe Sally's role first. And don't worry, because you're going to switch. Okay. Sally, this is your role. I want you to think something that's really painful and active for you right now, that you don't mind discussing with someone else. Okay, so should I divorce my husband? He's really a jerk. Should I give up my citizenship and move to start all? You know, something that's active. Should I place my mom in a home? Yeah, it's what's called an adaptive challenge versus a technical problem. A technical problem, you can always find someone with the expertise to solve it. It may not be you, you can hire that person, right? An adaptive challenge is one for which you don't know the answer. And it sort of eats at you, right? Because it's like solving world hunger. Yes, we can give out food, and that's sort of the technical response, only there's some reason world hunger still exists, because there are much deeper issues around it, right? So, Sally, you think of your adaptive challenge that you're willing to share. Okay, Susie, here's your role. You are not allowed to speak in sentences. Now, it's going to be a little awkward, and so I've given you, I have a handout here that has what I call powerful questions. You don't have to look at the handout, or you can. I'll tell Susie, you're going to start the exercise and say to Sally, hey, Sally, what's up? Because you're friends, right? And then Sally's going to go into her story. You know why? Because she's already created a story around this whole thing. And the story has solidified for her, right? Her world is getting small. So, Susie, you're going to send Sally to bigger points on a compass in the world because she can't get there by herself, right? Actually, I'm going to make it harder for you, Susie. You can only use questions that begin with the word what. Why? Because nobody can answer yes or no to a what question. They have to think anew, right? So, are you good? You get the exercise? Sally, you got your...
I have this one.
Here.
So
Sally, you got your challenge? Susie, you know your role?
something active in my mind.
And does everyone, you don't even have to look at it. Just think of it. And I'm going to go around and make sure you don't cheat. Because you know what people do? Especially managers. I work a lot with executives, right? The reason they're in the job is because they're the smartest one and they got promoted and they're technical experts at something. And they need to be on time, on budget. They need to move. They need to, right? And they're hired because they're supposed to have the right answer. So if Susie cheats and she goes, Sally, this is what I would do. You raise your hand and tell me, because I'll come over.
You're creating snitches.
All right, Susie, you got your role? You got it?
Yeah.
And Sally, you got your adaptive challenge. I'm going to time you. We'll stop at 10. Go ahead. Hey, Sally, what's up?
Kevin is saying all the truth that I feel like I should tell in front of everybody. It creates a problem with many people.
Don't try and problem solve. So your question's not, did you try, right? Send her in a bigger direction. What's the biggest fear you have?
So Ruth is in space for 4 hours. But they are saying 2 hours and taking it for 4 hours. And I'm giving 4 hours, asking them
I don't.
they're saying, this is not enough. Now it's like, it's become norm. So, see, not only them, but 90% of people have when you are saying these things, all people are together.
That's yes or no.
Like find their mass, going, not only
She's going to want to narrow to decide. So you want to open to explore.
I do something like 3 years ago, still those things are very hard to piece of my mind. And they are not willing to help me in my research work. When language
even not even narrowing in. What worries you the most? In other words, because that's a narrow to decide and solving it that way.
I want to hear about both. What is your biggest fear in the one aspect?
Okay. Sorry.
Maintaining my responsibility. At the same time, I'm harming myself.
Yeah.
So, all rules and regulations. it is kind of like after society. We have, like, for example, why people are doing these things, how they are why they are saying that this the education system is falling. We don't evaluate people, students, for 4 years, and then erect 4 hours. They are writing. What should I do? I just work now. I die. Spoiling my time. I would rather go not spending 4 hours.
Markers for the board, the whiteboard.
And they will be able to
Anything else?
So these were the guys. There is a way that why we are doing because system is corrupt. I need to adapt.
Just
I'm
you could sit in and observe. They're working in pairs, so you just sit in and observe. Sit anywhere. Okay, so all the peers are we're doing an exercise, but it'll be good. It will be good to have an observer.
If you evaluate me after 10 years,
I'm gonna give you a special role when we switch. Okay, what's your name? Patricia. No, in a few minutes I'm gonna give you a special role.
So they are affiliated with a but without taking permission from American university, for example. American university is teaching
Okay.
I'm sorry to be late. Unfortunately, I need to duck out for a meeting at 10:30, so I'll happily join a group. But I wanted to warn you that
She just came in. So when we switch, you pair up with her. Okay. So you can just kind of hang out and watch what people are doing.
sounds good. Thank you.
It's hard. And here's a handout for this exercise.
for the rest of my life. Maybe they know that what I'm talking about is alright, but it is not good. If you erase it, it's elective. What about what? I'm not doing anything. Without, I'm spending 4 hours doing that. And so, you will be courageous. You know that.
Okay, let's stop. Stop. Hello, everybody.
And maybe you like to invite, you can talk about
How is that? Hello, everybody. Earth calling. Hey, I know I'm cutting. I'm interrupting. Sally, how did it feel to have someone really interested in what's going on for you? Were you, Sally, let me hear from some Sallys. Did you actually begin to think anew about this thing that's been so solid for you?
Yeah, no, it was really great to have that sounding board. And even if it's just like, I'm not sure what to ask, but this seems to fit, right? An open-ended question is just that space that invites me to continue that process and to know that there's someone who actually is listening, right? Like listening is such an incredible gift.
Yeah.
And it's not trying to solve the problem, I think, and knowing that the person I'm talking to is not trying to solve the problem.
What you're doing is you're creating a pause for that other person. You're poking holes in their little, yeah. And how did it feel for you to be asked?
To be asked.
Oh wait, you were Sally. How did it feel, Susie, for you?
I love the challenge that's happening there. It's interesting, very, very interesting. So
yeah,
it was great. I don't know Eric at all.
So we're pretty much open to people who are interested in us.
Yeah. And I like how relatable the challenge is to, to some extent that experience as well. So it's crazy, right? Like a random person all of a sudden challenge.
Yeah. Oh, so your monkey mind was sort of working in the background. Yeah. I tell you what, we'll debrief on the other side. I want you to switch. Susie, now you think of an adaptive challenge, something that's really been, and we now have 2 more people that walked in. Oops, 3 people. So you guys pair up and listen as I explain the exercise, okay? And you can just jump in. Okay, so one of you is Sally and one of you is Susie, all right? So now, Susie, you have the adaptive challenge. This is something that's really eating away at you. And you can talk about anything in your personal life that you feel comfortable talking about, right? And Sally, this time you're going to start the exercise with, hey, Susie, what's up? And just ask open-ended questions. And really, really take in Susie. Is she looking at her watch all the time? Is she jerking around? Because anything that you see, you can ask about. You just said you were fine. What's going on for you right now? You know, like that, right? You got it? And try and use, I'll be nicer to Sally. You can use any questions. Try to stay away from yes and no questions. Okay? Take it away. Yeah.
Susie's the one who brings an adaptability.
Because it's the issue, it's not the issue.
Sally,
got that?
Yeah.
Oh, one point I'd like to make. When Susie tells you what the issue is, that's not what the issue is. Yes. That you don't mind talking about. Yeah. Any better magic markers? One didn't work. This one sort of works. Sorry. You didn't too. One doesn't work at all. Huh? Oh my God. Thank you.
And then they said, now that it's just like that, it's a great big it's shame it's so that's the struggle. That's the biggest problem. So I say the three biggest things here, and I usually have to do not and I feel that it's nice to have some of the sessions I call inspiration and great.
Don't let her solidify her story too much. I can insert a question. No sentences. What's your question? Just in your heart. No, that's a sentence. What might be an example of that? What's an example? Keep it simple, stupid. Kind of thing. Don't worry about that.
All of that.
What's happy?
I did that. That shouldn't have changed. I did this. I did.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah. This is no. Here's the point. You're here to change your life, not schmooze. Oh my God! What are you doing? No, do you know what, guys? Look, just to let me just say something to you. No, let me just say something to you, and then I'm going to stop the exercise. I'm an executive coach, too. I coach people across the federal government at the highest levels. When you ask somebody what's going on, and they tell you what's going on, like you're saying, I'm tired of people doing this, and this. No, but what I'm trying to say is, whatever someone says, this is the issue, they're trying to find that's not the issue. Okay, how is that? Can you see? Can you actually feel in the room the sort of lightness? sort of openness. What you had was a conversation between equals. Didn't matter what political party you were just curious about another human being, right? So this opens the space, and you can actually do this with yourself. Susie, were you helped by Sally's questions? It's not hard. You did this for 5 minutes. Look, you can do this for the rest of your life. I challenge you to ask 3 open-ended questions every day. It's like practicing the ball toss in tennis. You just keep doing it and doing it, right? Even if you go to a restaurant, what's the absolute best thing on the menu? Right? Now, here's how you do it with yourself. Let me pick someone here. Who wants to be my guinea pig?
I will.
Your name is?
Coco.
Coco. Okay, here's Coco. I started drawing her up here, but now I can add.
Lovely.
I can add. Can you see this? I'm going to add just a few more details.
Oh, I look lovely. Keep going.
Earrings. Here. That's enough.
Okay.
She's actually pretty happy. Okay. Now, this is, this when you see a cartoon and they're thinking about something, their thoughts. Okay, Coco, I want you, and you can exaggerate. I want you to think about something that's really disgusting. Maybe a person you really hate.
Oh,
I
don't hate anybody.
Okay, come on. Really, what you don't like about. No, let's make it up. Come on.
Inconsiderate. I don't like extreme inconsideration.
I want you to think of someone who's really turns you off.
Yes, that's not a problem at all.
Okay, what's that person's name? Let's give him a name.
Orange Man.
Orange. Oh,
Something else.
Think of a personal orange man in your life. Well, he is, right?
I don't keep people like this in my circle.
Come on, you're making this an example.
Okay, I have someone. Gossiper. Somebody's gossiping.
Yeah, can you think of a real person like that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so let's give that person a name.
Okay.
And now let's call that person Jane.
Okay.
And you say, oh, there's Jane walking toward me.
Oh, no.
Oh, Jane.
Messy Jane.
I can't stand her. Okay, so when you're having that thought in your head, how does that make you feel?
Lack of trust. I'm more closed off. I'm not as
more closed off.
Yeah. More cautious of what is said. Suspect.
Cautious.
Cynical.
Yeah. And when you show up in that way,
yep.
How do you manifest? You go to walk into your next meeting.
Oh gosh, no.
Are you your best self?
No, again, that close.
Because monkey mind's going blah 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 blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you might show up what?
Maybe clenched jaws, little
Clenched,
little irritated.
Irritated. Okay, and when you show up that way, what results do you get?
Unclear, maybe a little like curt, like shorter, not as like the openness isn't there. The clarity, the creativity, all of that's like blocked.
All right. Jane is just going to be who she is.
Mm-hmm.
Only this time my mind is in the question. Wow. If I can work with Jane, I could work with anybody on the planet. What a wonderful opportunity I have now. That's your thought, right? And I won't bother writing it all out, right? I can work with it, okay? Blah. Now, how do you feel?
Very empowered.
Empowered.
Very much in control. a little bit of promising. I'm still a little skeptical, a little suspect, but I got my both eyes open.
No, we're gonna hold this thought.
I know.
Okay.
That's
Feel
what I'm
now. How do
thinking.
we show up when we're empowered?
Given the context of this, speaking personally for myself, there'd still be a little bit of stoicism.
Hey, stop overthinking this.
Yeah.
How are you going to show up if you feel empowered and in control?
Like myself, just
Myself, my authentic self. And then when you show up as your authentic self, what are likely the results?
hopefully good work.
Yeah.
Quality work.
So this is our monkey mind. This is our blah, 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 tapping into our wiring. This is the problem of I, me, and mine. Me. Right? So it's all mindset. And when you adopt a mindset and you practice inquiry mindset, the quality of your life changes. And the people that annoy you the most, the situations that annoy you the most, what a wonderful opportunity for practice. Okay? 3 open-ended questions a day that begin with the word what. And just because you're married and you think your spouse knows that Thursday night is spaghetti night and not to challenge that, you might even say to your spouse, what would you really like for dinner tonight? Go into that clear, open space. It's not just you that gets transported there. It's others. It's the energy field. Okay? So that's the superpower, inquiry mindset. Ready for your next superpower? Did you like that one?
Yes.
Ready for your next superpower? Next superpower is mindfulness practice. I go across the federal government and I teach mindfulness practices to agencies. I'm an executive coach. I've been teaching mindfulness practice for maybe 45, 50 years. Okay. So I didn't just read a book and make this up. So mindfulness meditation is, well, let me explain to you how it works. This is Dr. Daniel Siegel. You're going like that, you know him? He was the head of child psychiatry at UCLA. He's a Western trained psychologist. I know some of you have to go to I'm not offended, it's okay. Let's go. Here's how mindfulness works. You hear this?
Understanding how mindfulness works is by looking into the circuitry of the brain.
Let me see if I can make this louder.
We all have actually a handy model of the brain, which is actually our hand. So if you take your hand and fold your thumb into the middle of your palm and your fingers over, this would be an example of a brain where the person's eyes are here, the top of their head is here, their brain is connected to the body itself at the spinal cord, which is represented in your
You know how to
wrist.
do the volume?
The way the brain is composed, its architecture, helps us understand how mindfulness works. If you lift your fingers up and lift your thumb up, we go to the first part of the brain in the skull, which is here called the brainstem. And this is where you have regulation of the body and where you also have the...
All right, let me start again. This is good.
understanding how mindfulness works is by looking into the circuitry of the brain. And so we all have actually a handy model of the brain, which is actually our hand. So if you take your hand and fold your thumb into the middle of your palm and your fingers over, this would be an example of a brain where the person's eyes are here, the top of their head is here, their brain is connected to the body itself at the spinal cord, which is represented in your wrist. The way the brain is composed, its architecture, helps us understand how mindfulness works. If you lift your fingers up and lift your thumb up, we go to the first part of the brain in the skull, which is here called the brainstem. And this is where you have the regulation of the body and where you also have the fight, flight, and freeze response that are created. This area of the brainstem, a very primitive area, works together with the next area that's on top of it called the limbic area. And this is represented by the thumb. The limbic area helps generate our emotions. There are parts of it that help us feel our feelings. We also distinguish different aspects of memory. And in particular, this limbic area responds to our relationships. Okay, now this limbic area and brainstem area, they work together. And because these are below the next area of the brain, the cortex, we call them subcortical. A lot of our impulses, our automatic behaviors, our just innate learned reactions to things, our instincts, are driven by these subcortical areas, including information that comes up from the body itself. Your heart pounding, your intestines churning, feed up to the limbic area in the brainstem and get you all revved up. So that's a kind of loop that creates what we call our emotional state. The cortex developed when we became mammals also, as the limbic area did, but the front part of this cortex, from your second to last knuckles down to your fingernails, the front part developed when we became primates, and this part where your fingernails are is called the prefrontal cortex because it's the frontmost part of the frontal lobe. This is the part that's most developed in humans. And it's this part that gives us the ability to pause before acting on an impulse. And the way it works is there are fibers that come down from this middle prefrontal area that actually calm down the irritable limbic area or brainstem area. Literally, this prefrontal region regulates the lower subcortical, limbic, brainstem, and even bodily areas. So in many ways, what we think happens is mindful awareness practice creates a state of activation in that moment that in a way harnesses the power of this prefrontal area in that moment. As you repeatedly practice something, that state can become a trait because neurons which are firing together wire together. So with the strengthening of this prefrontal area, what happens is, for example, if a child is angry and the brainstem is activating a fight response, the limbic area works with that to develop a feeling of fear. There's a sense of betrayal by what happens. So you're really angry, you're burning up, your heart is pounding, and everything is going to get you to fight, to get a knife, to get a gun, to hit someone, to do something really violent. But your prefrontal cortex has you pause. And the very parts of the brain that allow you to pause are also the same part of the brain, this middle prefrontal area, that allows you to have insight into what's going on. My heart's pounding, I'm really angry. Empathy for someone else. Maybe that guy didn't mean it, or maybe he's doing the best he can. And then even a sense of morality. So when we develop the middle prefrontal areas, we actually can not only pause, but we can think of the larger social good and enact a behavior that's better for everyone. And that's where mindfulness really alters things like bullying, like violent acts of aggression. And it's where mindfulness can change the world, literally one person, one relationship at a time.
How many of you have a mindfulness practice? Yeah. Make sure you can see me. So move your chair if you need to. So there are many forms of mindfulness practice. I'm going to teach you one that you can do. Short times, many times. And coupled with inquiry mindset we can actually change the quality of our life and become more calm, more resilient. Okay, let's take our seat, feet firmly on the floor. Don't cross your legs. Hands on your thighs. Elbows loosely by your side, kind of, like wings of a bird, they're sort of out. There's a string going through your body, like a marionette. Your head's going up to the sky. Tuck your chin. So your head is really over your body. The idea is not too tight, not too loose. So you're upright and very relaxed at the same time. The tight is your back. Don't lean your back against the back of your chair. So you're up, right? Chin tucked. Open your mouth slightly and rest the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth so you're not clenching. And lower your gaze to about 4 feet in front of you so you're not getting too distracted. Breathe normally. Now we're going to do a practice called attention on object. Again, there are many, many mindfulness practices. This is a very common one. It helps us to tame our monkey mind, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you'll notice your breath is in breath, out breath, and then there's a gap, and then you take an in breath, right? If you don't take that in breath, you're dead, I guess, right? So don't worry about the gap and don't worry about the in breath. Just lightly follow your out breath. Lower your gaze to about 4 feet in front of you. And it's not a heavy concentration, it's a lightly noticing, right? And what you're also going to notice is that because we have monkey mind, we can't stop the phenomenal play of our mind. It's going blah, blah, blah. Like, I wish you would stop talking. I'm getting hungry. I want to get out of it. So thoughts arise from nowhere. They dwell and they go nowhere. Our emotions are just strong thoughts, right? They arise. They stick around, right? Sometimes we plan our vacation while we're pretending we're meditating, right? Right? The point is that space I was telling you about, that resilient wiring is still there. At some point, that wiring is going to speak to you and say, you're in this room, you're doing this practice. Okay. You're in this room, you're doing this practice. Okay, I got the high sign from my boss here. So we're going to do it for a couple minutes. All right. So when you notice that you're lost in your thinking because you are inherently awake, say to yourself the word thinking. I use a squeaky voice to keep me awake. Thinking, and bring your mind back to following your out breath. You're bringing your mind back, back, back. For those of you who have dogs, it's like training your dog to stay. Ready? Let's just try that for a couple minutes. You got the instruction? Yeah. Sit up more. You're leaning against the back of your chair. You don't want to do that. Yeah, okay. Follow your out breath. If a thought arises, when you notice it, thinking, back to following your out breath. Begin. Okay. You didn't even do 2 minutes. How was it? It's a very powerful practice, my friends. Even 2 minutes a day. Yeah. There are many books out there by John Kabat-Zinn, others. You can get this instruction. You can go on my website, thezaplingroup.com, and hear all kinds of podcasts. During COVID, I was asked by the university to create a whole bunch of mindfulness podcasts, and I stuck them all on my website. So they're there, guided meditations. Let me wrap up and bring in the other habits of mind, okay? And then we'll conclude, and I don't know if I'll have time to for you to ask questions. Let me just say this. If you start practicing these habits of mind with regularity, you're going to there's some side effects. It's like when you work out at the gym, you want to build muscles, only you find you're also sleeping better, craving sweets less, whatever. These two practices, here's what are the side effects, if you will. Self-acceptance, embracing who we are. And if we embrace who we are, we're unlocking our power to grow, to learn. Self-acceptance, it's incomplete without self-compassion. We learn, we embrace our setbacks. And we don't deride ourselves. We accept, we stay. We can stay, we can hold our seat. And we know we have the aspiration to do well, to be kind. We can trust our aspiration even if we mess up. Treat yourself like your own best friend. This is weird. We become really aware of why we're on this planet. You know, you can't do it all. It helps you to find your North Star in this life, your higher purpose, what values you have, because they're driving you anyway. This practice is a way of making the unseen seen, right? You learn what to say yes and no to in life. Okay, so clarity of purpose and values. You can reframe setbacks. Ruth, you're a total jerk. That was so boring. What was the most boring part for you? It's the twinkle in your eye that changes everything. Curious. What else? And of course, you'll guard against burnout, right? I suggest you do this these practices with asking 3 what questions a day, right? And then mindfulness practice 2 minutes a day or 2 minutes twice a day. Okay, and the 2 I didn't mention here is you can journal. Ask yourself questions by journaling, writing out your question thinking. There's something about the act of writing that's a wonderful form of meditation. Yeah. And then, of course, because I am an executive coach, I say, get a developmental coach. Why not? And short of that, you can go to my website. You can contact me. We're in this suit together, guys. We need to be there for each other. We need to help each other. We're all equals. I'm not a special carrot. All right? So be kind to yourself. Take time for yourself to do these practices. And that's my talk. I be done. And I believe you're supposed to do something. So let me, I think there's a formal form or you scan that. You want them to fill in an evaluation.